A question that has arose ever since standardized tests were put into place is, are standardized tests effective when teaching students? There are some good points made from both sides of the argument, such as teachers only teach toward the tests and not towards the success of the student's future, and that students are forced to memorize material for a test in a world where all of that information is easily accessible. Or, from the other side of the argument could be that standardized tests set a standard, and without them, we wouldn't be able to measure a student's capabilities, or that standardized tests give teachers a guideline on what their students need to learn for that year.
Cut the horse bull, Seymour. Your scores on this test will determine how much money this suck shack gets for years to come. So we will spend every moment of the next 2 weeks drilling the questions and answers into your soft little skull.
I'm not a fan of standardized testing. I think we teach the test. And there have been studies in the state of Texas where actually teachers that receive stipends when they get students to be successful in the test spend their whole year on the curriculum of teaching the test. So I think there's better ways to assess the students, and I also think there's better ways to utilize teachers and their passion for teaching. Sometimes standardized testing takes one element out of their subject area instead of encompassing the whole curriculum of what they do and what brought teachers into the field to begin with. So it's got two elements of issues. It's got the issues of having an expectation lowered to a standard that may not get a student to be at the highest level. That's the one aspect of it all. And then it has the other element of the teachers not being able to teach the curriculum of the passion what brought them to the subject area in the first place.
I'm not 100% sure that standardized testing is the way to go. I think it does, it can help. I don't think that it should keep a person from graduating.
Are there any pros that you can see coming out of
Yes,
this?
it does gives a school district a picture, if you will, of where they stand on creating a consistency of education. So, in second grade, these students have to have this level of reading, and in eighth grade, we have to have this level of algebra or math. So I can see that there's benefits at that. But I think those can be done through just normal ways of assessing a class to get grades for that. So I think standardized testing has really developed out of an accountability for the individual teacher in the school district. So it's like a global way that the state is able to mandate that and justify that. And it does come down to money too, because school districts are given more money for higher test scores. And so it's a conflict of interest, because if you're teaching to the test to get more money for your district, you might have lost sight to what education is all about to begin with, which is the student. I would replace it with something else. I think that we've too far gone into the standardized testing, and I would make it more of a side-based management decision to where each district, for their specific needs, was able to develop their own accountability. And I think that would allow districts a little bit more freedom and be a little bit more creative for whoever their clientele was, like their student population, and what those specific needs. And LaPorte ISD might have different needs than, say, Richardson ISD or any ISD in San Antonio. So I think it could be a little bit more streamlined on that, and it might offer more opportunities for people that were in that field to be more specialized in what the needs were. There may be special needs in Texas that aren't needed in California or something. But at the core of it, the idea is that the student is passionate about the subject area and that they feel a need to go further on in their own education. The best teacher that can be is yourself. And so really the role of the teacher is to develop that student to be a lifelong learner and to go out there and seek that themselves. I don't know if a standardized test has the capacity to do that. I mean, and in the rigors of it too, the amount of instructional time that it takes to do these tests, it really does. It takes a demand on the student, it takes a demand on the campus, the administration, the parents. So I would replace the whole thing, and I would do it much like I would do it on a individual basis of school districts, that they had the power to be able to develop their own kind of assessment And if they like standardized testing, if that was an overwhelming majority, then that district could. Well, we do assessment. We do individual assessment on skill set. We divide the classes up into skill-based abilities. So like the skill set of the bands are divided up for the advanced student or students that are at one level. So we have all those students that are at the higher level, they're in that. And so we wouldn't bring them down. It actually is, that's a good example for standardized testing is band, because in a sense, you could compare standardized testing as if we just had band class and whatever the weakest player was in that band, say we had a band of 250, well, there's going to be a lot of different skill sets in that organization. So to me, standardized testing brings everything down to the weakest player. And I would like to actually do the reverse of that. We divide the bands up. Here we have 4 bands, and they're each ability based. So all the students that are in each band are, for the most part, meet certain skill sets.
We should be a team, and a team of people all for one common goal. And that common goal is to educate you students and get you guys ready for life after high school.